Sweet guys, what's up? I have got Robin from The Ocean, who is leading one of the headliners for Ramfest in South Africa. Robin, please introduce yourself and what it is that you do.
Hey, I'm Robin. I'm the guitar player and founding member of The Ocean, a Berlin-based, I guess, metal band in the broadest sense, you could say.
So you're one of the founding members. So you've been with the band since 2000.
That's correct. Yes.
So that's 23 years of making music in a band. That's actually incredible.
23 years and counting. Yeah, exactly.
And I was looking up like a little bit about you guys as well, and I don't know how accurate this information is, but, you can never really fully trust anything on the internet, but you guys have had something like within those first few years, there was something like 40 members who came and went throughout the band.
Yeah, in the early days, we were organized more like a collective of different musicians playing together rather than like a normal, band with a firm lineup. We've had lots of people in and out of the band, and at times we had like three or four different guitar players in the band, but we would play never more with more than two, just depending on who was available. So it was more like a loose kind of open door, revolving door policy type of group of people playing music together.
I suppose that's where the whole collective thing comes from. That's interesting. Like I've never actually considered that as a concept for a band.
Yeah, it was partially because all the good people, all the good musicians were already taken by other bands. So, availability was limited. And at the same time, we didn't really have much to offer being a new band without like a label deal or a booking agency. So it was kind of just the necessity of the situation, that we were in. We had to take whoever we could get for a while, and the good people, they were always already very busy, and then that kind of became a concept. And because it's also nice to have different people to deal with on a day-to-day basis, it's inspiring. So it has its advantages and its disadvantages also, clearly.
And when did you guys like solidify the lineup? What was the point that like sort of tipped it over to being like a solid lineup versus the more collective approach?
I think that started happening in 2005, 2004, 2005 was the time when we had a fixed lineup for the first time. And yeah, we just realized that we spent a lot of time in the basement rehearsing and not so much time playing gigs, because with all these different people involved, we needed to rehearse more, because it was always different people and you needed to play with all of them to get them, to be able to play the songs. So we just realized that we want to play and focus on touring and getting out of the rehearsal space, and a solid lineup seemed to be the better approach to make that happen, really.
Out of the guys who are here now, you're obviously one of the founding members, and I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, the vocalist was like the last person to be finalized, if I remember reading right.
Yeah, Loic joined the band in 2009, I believe. So he's been in the band also already for almost 15 years, but everyone else joined after that. The last one who joined was David, our current guitar player, who joined like 6 or 7 years ago. So it's been as like the current lineup has been kind of firm for at least 6 or 7 years now. The band has just gone through different stages and different groups of people, and also very different musical approaches across the years. Yeah, like I said, it's a band that's 20 years old. So I guess that's just a part of the process of growing up and evolving and developing as musicians and as people.
I love how you guys have seemed to like embrace that change though, because it never seems to be like each album or release has been like wildly different from each other. And you've just seemed to like embrace that ever-changing sort of nature that everyone has brought to it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's for us, that's integral to the band and just important for keeping it interesting for ourselves, and I believe also for our listeners, to not just develop a formula and then to repeat that and like make the same album over and over again, but to explore different approaches to music and to songwriting, and also that comes with occasionally just playing with different people. I guess that was also a part of it.
What I want to know is that like is this your guys' first time coming to South Africa as a band or in general?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
That's cool. Like I'm actually like I'm super stoked to have like new people coming to the country and experiencing like our scene and our bands and stuff. I don't know if you've had the time to like check out any of the bands and stuff that you guys are going to be playing with. I know that Warren said you had something like 25 minutes to actually do this chat. So I'm not sure if you've had time to do anything really other than just focus on surviving.
Yeah, no, not really. We're currently in summer festival season here in Europe. So we just got back from a weekend in between Portugal and Romania, traveling a lot. And now we're going to Brutal Assault Festival in Czech Republic on the weekend, then to Arctingen, and then we're flying to South Africa. And after that, we go to Australia and to Malaysia, and then we come home. We have 1 week at home, and then we're going on tour in Europe. So I'm not listening to music right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's I can.
other than what I do of like for the label, obviously I work with music every day, but I don't really have time to sit down and check out any of the bands we're playing with, unfortunately. But I'm very much looking forward to that and to experiencing a bit of the South African metal community. Super excited to see what it's like down there.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely incredible. Like our metal scene is like a very, how do I say, like hardcore niche within our community. Like the guys who are fans of it are hardcore fans of it. The bands that put out, the guys who are playing up with like the supporting acts are probably a lot of the best the country has to offer. I'm going to be honest with you.
I guess it's a yeah, it's a festival that is an intriguing mix of international bands and local bands, and I think that's really cool. So we're gonna be there early and check out bands. That's for sure.
So, and then you said like you guys are literally, it's brutal assault. So you've just finished up something now, it's brutal assault. Then you guys are flying it down to the side, and then from there straight to Australia. So you guys aren't like you're gonna be here basically like for not even a week or a couple of days and just straight over to the next one.
Pretty much, we're coming in a day early and we're flying out the day after the Johannesburg show to Doha and then from there to Brisbane and start another tour there on the 6th of September. So, like, pretty much right after South Africa. So, yeah, there's not much time. Personally, I managed to squeeze in a little trip to like a week in Namibia before the South Africa tour with my girlfriend. So, I'm really looking forward to that. But that's just me. The rest of the band is coming in only the day before the show.
And then like what I'm curious about is like, with the metal scene in Berlin, it's something it's nice to actually speak to someone outside of our own, our own scene here.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I've been chatting with Warren for years. You know, he promoted Pelagic in South Africa a little bit as well. So yeah, we've been talking a little bit, but I'm not really familiar with most of the metal bands from the scene.
I can't imagine doing what you're doing. I mean, just doing small little like trips around the country can be exhausting. And you guys have been doing this, I'm assuming for you guys have been touring for quite some time as well, like as long as the band's been around.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, very eager to get out, and I mean, yeah, part of the thrill of being in this band for us has always been traveling and touring, and we love to wake up in a different place every morning. It's part of the game somehow, and we all embrace that and we all love that. So it's more of a gift than a curse, really, to be traveling so much.
I mean, how much time of the year do you guys spend traveling? I mean, you were saying that, it's festival season in where you are. And that's
Yeah,
that's not something that we really experience that side. We don't really have a festival season. It's more of a take what you can get as it comes. And how much
right.
time do you guys actually spend like traveling?
Well, it depends. Like last year, for example, we've been out pretty much nonstop from end of August until February this year. We did a long European headliner tour. Then we went to the States to do a tour with Catatonia in October, November. Then we did South America in December. And then we were home for actually for Christmas. We were in Chile in South America. So we were home just for New Year's. And then on the 7th of January, we went out on a European tour with Carnival again. And that, yeah, brought us home in February. So we've been out for pretty much 6 months with like just a week in between. That was quite intense. And after that, we were all at the point where we wanted to take a little break. So like this year, we've taken it a bit slower and focused on the album release. So since February until June, we've been home for 4 months, and that was good. And now we're getting itchy again to go out.
That's wild. 6 months consistently. Like uh, God damn, that's impressive.
Yep, that's what it can be like, and it's difficult because our levels of stress tolerance are quite different. You know, like some people want to go out more than that, and others they get tired already after like a month or something like that. So it's like difficult to make it all align within the band sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I just want to check it. There's six of you in the band, right?
There's six of us, although for the moment, for the time being, we're only five. Our synth guy Peter unfortunately won't come to South Africa or to Australia with us. He's just not in a good place mentally right now, and needs to take some time off. And hopefully, we'll have him with us again next year. But for all of the shows this year, we're playing without him.
So sorry to hear that. All the best for him, and I hope things get better, and I really hope that it picks up for him.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'll pass that on.
Yeah, because I've seen what you guys have done in the past as well, is you've recorded like a whole bunch of songs and then also done like multiple releases from those sessions. So split them into like different releases. And I wasn't sure if that was something that had happened. And with your music being as wild, like technical as it is, I can imagine trying to get it ready for live must be quite intimidating sometimes.
Yeah, it's not just the music, it's also so much around it that is just time consuming, you know, like we have a quite technical setup. We play with in-ear monitoring, we play to a click track. So, you know, we can have the instruments that we don't have live with us, like there's lots of cellos and especially on Holocene, lots of brass instruments, that we can have them come off the sequencer basically. And then we need to program lights and all of that because we have a sequenced triggered light show as well that is kind of like sync with the music. All of that just takes tremendous amounts of time. So it's unfortunately not just a plug and play band, but one that is quite challenging to you know, make a new song happen live.
I can imagine. So it's like it's more about the just the overall experience as well. It's not just about there's more aspects to the music that draws out the music as well.
Exactly. It's a kind of holistic experience, I would say, or like ideally, you know, like we all the songs are connected and it's kind of like a soundtrack vibe, I think, or live shows that kind of like suck you in and don't let go until the show's over. And I've always been intrigued by bands that manage to do that live, you know, where it's not just a random collection of songs, but like where a set has like is like a journey, takes you to places, and that's what we're trying to do.
No, I'm trying to like just check out. There was a video that I saw that you guys did, which was kind of like a live session, like with what you're talking about with the lighting and that type of stuff. That was so cool. But now I can't remember the name of the song, or now I'm trying to see where it was. But it was so cool, and it just ties in with everything that you were saying as well, with how like a holistic experience where there's so many more aspects to it. And I am really, really stoked for you guys to bring that type of theatric to the country as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward. See how it goes.
I'm assuming people are, like, I don't know if anyone's told you about like South Africa. I don't know if anyone's given you like any funny warnings about the country or like, well, I wouldn't say warnings, but like any like tips. Have you had anything like that?
Not really. No, we're just oh yeah, so someone told us about the energy crisis, that it's actually quite serious over there.
So while trying to explain this to people, actually.
Yeah, that the power goes off during the day. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, depending on what sort of stage we're on, it could be something like it can be multiple times a day for like 2 hours at a time. Some of the worst affected areas can be 4 hours at a time. I can guarantee you that Ramfest will be prepared for this like possibility that it won't affect the show, but it's something that we've been dealing with for a couple of years. So we're bitter, but we're used to it.
Crazy. And where's that coming from?
That is unfortunately a result of our government in general. Like South Africa is a beautiful place. The people in it are wonderful. It's just, as with a lot of places in the world, the government doesn't do it justice. And yeah, so there there is a bit of a problem with that.
So there's going to be generators prepared, I suppose, then.
Trust me, we are generally very prepared for this type of thing.
Nice.
What is it like being in Berlin? I'm super fascinated with the music scene outside of the country as well. I haven't had the chance to unfortunately play outside of the country myself. What has it been like in Berlin with growing and stuff in your hometown? What's the general reception there like for you guys?
Well, it's gotten a lot better than in the early days. I think we've been struggling, like many Berlin bands, for a long time to be kind of recognized in our hometown. So it's not like the typical band's career that where, you know, a band usually gets big first in their hometown and then kind of starts touring. For us, it was kind of the opposite. We started touring quite early and had better shows pretty much everywhere in Europe than in Berlin for the first time. I don't know why that was. I think it's particularly hard here. Like Berliners are very like they don't believe anything good comes out of their city. I don't know how that is related to the mentality here, but that's the impression I had for many years actually. Yeah, and then it really take because of that it really takes time for them to appreciate local bands. They always look to bands from abroad or from other places first somehow. But now it's, I mean, we've been around for so long. Obviously, we have a very strong crowd here now, and we're going to be headlining a very big venue in September on our tour with This Will Destroy You. So we're really looking forward to that. We had a fantastic show with Carnival here in February, and yeah, I think it's just taking time for people to appreciate that we kind of made ourselves a place to stay here, and like that we're not a band that releases a record or two and then breaks up. We've been around for 20 years, and eventually people, everyone will hear about that who's interested in this type of music. And now we're finally at that place, I think.
You guys have like a very interesting backlog of music. Like I could not from the time that I found out about doing this chat and up to doing it, like I have not managed to go through all of it.
Yeah, I know.
Like it is it is
Yeah.
an extensive one, and it, like I said, it's been a journey, man. It's a really interesting listen to try and listen through, and how much it's changed, and like I said, how you guys have embraced that overall wave of like feelings and emotions. What you were saying about the hometown thing, I find that interesting. Like I wonder if it's just a thing about how it's a hometown mentality in general, like irrespective of where you are in the world, where people are always looking out instead of looking in, like around them.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like that. Yeah, maybe it's a part of the human condition to do that, but I feel it's like, yeah, it's not like that everywhere necessarily. I think there's lots of factors coming into play when it comes to that. I mean, there have been really strong, very local European music scenes throughout the 90s. If you look at the hardcore scene, for example, a lot of that was coming from a small town in Sweden called Umeå in the north, and very far away from the the beaten track basically in the major cities. And so it's, yeah, sometimes I think it's in big capital cities it's difficult because there's so much going on, so much distraction also in terms of shows and everything, and at the same time all the international bands are playing all the time. So it's easy to look at that, and rather than to look inward and see what do we have to offer. Actually, I think that's kind of like a normal part of the process there.
That is actually a damn good point. Thank you so much for taking this time to have a chat with me. I really appreciate it. I'm so stoked to have you guys in the country.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and looking forward to see you and yeah, and your country, and to finally get there to play. We're extremely excited.